Revlon, this is pretty intense. What is in this? Because my lips have literally doubled in size. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Carmel, and in today's video we have some new affordable drugstore makeup to take a look at. So I have some new bits from L'Oreal, from Maybelline, from Milani, and I even have some Covergirl. I know, I got my hands on some, finally. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. So I've already prepped my skin with a milky toner and moisturiser. I don't have any new eyebrow products to take a look at. I never have any new eyebrow products, do I? I need to really branch out and try some more. But we're going to start off today with the eyes. Now, I have already prepped my eyes. I just used this from Essence. This is the Jelly Grip Eyeshadow Primer. It's really, really good. It doesn't give you any coverage on the eyelids, so you can still see that my eyelids are a little bit veiny and discoloured, but the eyeshadow will be fine at covering that. But this really does help to make your eyeshadow last. It's so good and so affordable. I think it cost me €2. So guess who has released a new eyeshadow palette? L'Oreal. I know, L'Oreal, who never release eyeshadow palettes, and when they do, they leave a lot to be desired. But they have released these new quads, and these are the Rendez-Vous Couleur eyeshadow quads. So 4 shades to choose from, 4 colour stories, and I went for the Quad Gold Platinum. There is an Essential Nudes, which I know that I would be inclined to go for. A great everyday easy quad. Or there was a Signature Pinks or a Warm Glow, but this one just caught my eye. And again, that's Cold Platinum. And I did think it would be a little cooler than what it was. I think some of the shades do lean more neutral. This actually retails for €20 here in Ireland, and I think that is steep, but I always think that L'Oreal are steep in their prices. Now, L'Oreal are not well known for their eyeshadows at all, and I wasn't really expecting much, but they're not bad. They're really not bad at all. Now, it is hard to swatch the lightest shade in the pan, but they're really pretty. I mean, this brown here, I would say it is the closest to a matte, but it still has a little bit of a sheen to it, in my opinion. Now, it could just be me and my eyes. It wouldn't be the first time. I'm going to start up here with this shade, and we're going to use that as our transition. Now, it is very light on my skin tone, but look, we'll do our best with it. I'm going to take a Morphe M33 brush and just dip into that. Now, there isn't a whole lot of fallout with this palette, actually. Oh, and I did mean to say that there is a mirror in the underside of this, so got to take the wins. So just going to wash this over. Again, you can see there's not a whole lot of showing up on my eyes because it's kind of similar to my skin tone. I have that problem a lot, actually. I am kind of regretting not picking up the pink, but I've been wearing a lot of pinks recently, and I have been leaning in recent weeks more towards kind of cooler eyeshadow. I've just been liking it. I don't know what happens to me in the spring, but I just want to wear cool eyeshadow. I want to wear cool everything. You know what, we'll go straight in with this colour here. And this is really, 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 really pretty. But one standout shade from 4 when you're paying €20 isn't ideal, but I do think this is nice. It's nice to see L'Oreal trying, but I just don't understand when they are such a powerhouse that they don't have better eyeshadows. I mean, having said that, I do love the eyeshadow sticks, but that's not the same thing. I'm talking palettes. So yeah, I mean, it's soft, it's pretty. I do like that. I like that shade. I'm wondering if the other palettes have a little bit more about them. Now, I say this is €20. However, I did pick this up from Amazon and I got it for €12. So always check the L'Oreal store on Amazon because they are generally quite a bit cheaper. When I was reading about this palette, it did say that this can be used on the eyes and the cheeks, which is interesting. I'm not sure what I would use on the cheeks from here, but You know, that's what they're saying. Let's take a Morphe M303 brush, and I'm going to go into the lightest shade here and just bring it into the inner corner a little bit. Then I think we'll go in with this darkest shade, and I'm going to take my Sigma. This is an EO6. It's just a winged liner brush, and I'm going to go into that deepest shade. I don't really want to have too much depth in the eyes today because this is a slightly darker colour than what I would usually go for on my eyes. And if I wear anything that's too dark, then I risk my deep set eyes looking even more deep set, if that makes sense, because darker colours obviously push things back a bit. And I don't need my eyes pushing any further back into my head than what they actually are. So I'm just going to deepen up the lash line. I'll actually take a little bit of this under the lash line as well with a Morphe M383. We all have such high expectations when it comes to eyeshadow these days because you can get great eyeshadows for very little. And L'Oreal just don't seem to have stepped up their game when it comes to eyeshadows, powder eyeshadows like this. However, what I'm going to say is I don't think it's supposed to be a palette that you see from space. It's not supposed to have intense shimmers. Yeah, and I think that the formula is actually really nice. It blends really easily. There's no huge amounts of fallout at all. Given past L'Oreal eyeshadows, it's actually fine. I think it is pretty. So I'm not going to be too harsh on L'Oreal. So yeah, I think it's better than what they've given us previously, but they do still have a way to go. Before we move on to mascara, I do just want to use a primer, and this isn't new, but I want to include it in this video because I've been a bit annoyed about this product, and it's one of those products that I was not interested in at all. But when I finally got it, I realised how good it was. And it's the packaging that stopped me from purchasing it. It's this from NYX the Face Glue Gripping Primer. What is this packaging? What is this packaging, please? It is so unattractive to me as a 43-year-old. And obviously, I know that this isn't really aimed at me. This isn't aimed at somebody my age, I don't think. I think NYX are aiming all of their products at people that are much younger than myself, and I get that. But who looks at this and thinks, oh, I really want to put glue on my face? The face glue, it's just, I find the marketing really off with this, I do. This retails for about €10, and it is just a really lovely hydrating primer. Now it does look like glue. I'll give it that. It does look like the type of glue you would find in primary schools. It looks like PVA glue. There is a slight bit of tackiness to it, but it's not what you think it's going to be. It's actually very hydrating, and I just think that the marketing really puts off a great deal of people. So I'm just going to rub that into the skin. I don't want it under my eyes, but just on my face, and it feels lovely, honestly. And I can't believe how much it helps my makeup just to look even more put together. And I wouldn't be one for grippy type primers at all. I'm not a big fan, but this is really, really nice. Look, if you look at my face there, it is sticky, but it definitely does dry down. So I'm going to give that time to sit there and sink into the skin while we move on to mascara. So Maybelline have released a new mascara, and it is a tubing mascara. So this is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky Tubes. This retails for about €16. So it does claim to be an innovative tubing mascara, which wraps lash by lash for amplified lengths that last for up to 24 hours. And obviously, like with any tubing mascara, the way to remove them is with just warm water. They are super easy to remove. So it does have a really nice skinny little wand, and it is very plasticky and very, very flexible. I'd say it's quite a wet tubing formula, and it doesn't look like there's a lot on the brush, but it does deposit quite a bit. Like with any tubing mascara, I do feel like you need to work quite quickly because it does dry down. Now, I have seen people using this and they have the longest lashes on the actual planet, so it looks great on them. The one thing I'm going to tell you that this will not give you is volume. There's no volume with this mascara. But if you have generally long lashes, I think you will really, really love this. And if you like tubing mascaras in general, I think you'll like it. Now, because of the lack of volume, the first couple of times I wore this, I didn't really like it. As with most tubing mascaras, it dries down pretty much instantly, and for that reason, I don't find it buildable at all. So I think if you like tubing mascaras, you are really going to enjoy this, because what I will say is this is the most true tubing mascara I've ever used. It is true tubing. Once this dries, it is not going to move off your eyelashes at all. You can guarantee this is staying there. Now, I know that people will be thinking, okay, well, if it's that budge proof, how am I going to get it off? You need to trust me when I tell you that I've never had such an easy mascara to remove ever in my whole life. It's the easiest tubing mascara I've ever had to use. As soon as you pop a little bit of warm water on a cotton pad, place it over the mascara just for a little few seconds, and it will just come straight off. I've never experienced anything like it, honestly. But I think that the negative for this is if you just don't work quick enough and it sets, then you're stuck with how it's set, basically. There's no going back in and rescuing this, unfortunately. It's a true tubing mascara. So this is definitely not my most favourite mascara to apply, because I do find that it's more of a wet formula. I do get it a little bit messy, and probably because the brush is a little bit flimsy feeling. You know what? This mascara, it's really, really good. Now, tubing mascaras are never my number one go-to. I prefer a normal washable mascara. However, if I definitely want my lashes to stay where they are, not moving, they literally are frozen in place, I would go for this. And although you are not going to get a ton of drama with this mascara unless you have dramatic lashes anyway, you are going to get performance. This is one of the best all-round mascaras I've ever tried. It literally is so no budge. It's really good. It's really, really good. I'm so happy with it. Again, it was a grower though, so it might be a grower on you. So if you do get this, you don't like it initially, persevere. Honestly, persevere with products that don't work for you initially, because you could be surprised at how they turn out. So on this channel, I do not do first impressions. However, the concealer that I'd ordered that I wanted to test for this video did not arrive on time, and I've had a nightmare with it, and it finally arrived yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to test it out. So I just want to let you know that before we put it on, but I thought, well, I may as well put it on in the video, because why not? And I will come back to you with my actual opinion on it. But this isn't a new product, but I have been wanting to try more Kiko Milano recently. So I picked up the Full Coverage Dark Circles Concealer, because if there's anybody that needs some concealer on their dark circles, it's me. So this retails for about €13, and I picked this up in the shade 04 Peach. I wanted more of a peachy tone so that I didn't have to use a colour corrector. That's actually a nice peachy shade, isn't it? It's just lightly peachy rather than leaning orange. It just has a regular doe foot applicator. This does claim to be a high coverage, so full coverage concealer. Let's go in over here. Let's just go right in the problematic area. Now, I don't know how thick this is going to be, so let's just do that to start with and then go from there. So I'm going to use a Morphe M131 Corrector Concealer brush for this. And I'm just going to start tapping that out. I don't do first impressions on the channel because I think that skin changes each day, and first impressions are not always accurate. You know, sometimes you can hate something with a first impression and then grow to love it, or vice versa. So I always like to test out products first, but I can usually get a good kind of feel for a product the first time that I use it. So I'm building up here kind of slowly. I think the shade's good, isn't it? Well, I think the shade's really good. Blending out really nicely. So although it's high coverage, it feels really lightweight. I'm just going to build it up more because I feel like I can. Okay, I expected this to be really thick and heavy. That's looking decent. Let's look up close. Oh, do you know what? That looks really good. But I can still see my darkness, so I'm going to say that I don't think it's full coverage, to be honest. Let's build it. We don't want to go too crazy because we don't know how it's going to behave. We don't know whether it'll start sitting into lines. But it feels really nice. It feels kind of hydrating, to be honest. But we'll know after I test this for a while, and I will come back to you with my honest thoughts on it. Yeah, it looks really nice. I'm not blown away by it, but it's nice. This brush is great, by the way, this Morphe brush. I really like it for concealer. I'm reluctant to build it up anymore. I think I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, and then I will judge whether I can go in and build it up a bit more. We'll see if it starts to sink into my creases. But you know what? That looks really good so far. So we'll leave it there and I will come back to it. But again, don't be going off and purchasing this now because you see it on my under eyes. I do need to go and fully test this properly. But hey, so far so good. Look, it's been a good first impression, but remember, we don't trust first impressions. So I'm very excited that we finally have this skin tint from Milani over here in Europe. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Skin Tint Stick. So I have been using this and I do have some thoughts. The first thought that I have is how expensive Milani is here in Europe. 22 euros this cost me, and I did have a look at how much it costs in the US as well, and it does cost $18, so not cheap. We're talking on par with L'Oreal here. So it looks like any other foundation stick, and it does have a little cap on it to keep the product fresh, so don't chuck that away. Now, I have messed up on the shade. I went for the shade 04, which is light with a warm neutral undertone. I mean, it's nothing new around here, is it, that I mess up on shades. Now, I've been using all affordable brushes today, but for my face, I do want to use a new brush that I got in the recent UK Sephora sale, and I want to use this today because I do know that there will still be people shopping the Sephora sale and maybe wondering whether they should pick up this brush, and it's the Makeup by Mario F4 brush. It's the double-ended. This is really good. Oh my gosh. So I've done a lot of research on it, and yeah, it is. It's really, really nice, honestly. So I thought I'd demo it today for those people that watch my videos that buy Drugstore affordable and they buy high-end as well, so I may as well include it. So I'm just going to stripe it onto the face as I do with any foundation stick. Do you know what? Maybe the shade is fine. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Now this is a true skin tint, and I think when I first started to use this, I kind of forgot that. I was expecting this to be a foundation stick, and it's not really. It's definitely something that just gives you a little bit of coverage. Now it is very emollient, but that means that it's really easy to blend. Now that actually looks fine, doesn't it, shade wise? It actually matches my neck perfectly, so maybe I did choose okay. Maybe I did. This claims to give a light to medium coverage, and it claims a soft matte finish. I don't know if I'm going to say that it's very matte on me. I think it does depend on your base products. Now today I have gone in with the NYX glue, which is more of a, I wouldn't say it's mattifying, but it's obviously not a glowy base. But you know, this is my face with nothing on and there is a little bit of glow there from my moisturizer. But I'd say that this gives a natural finish rather than a matte finish in my opinion. Using a stick like this, it's good for application, you know, getting into those hard to reach areas. And this brush is really good. It's really soft and it still has a little bit of density to it, so it's perfect for cream products. But that's really light coverage, and I would be really reluctant to build this up any more than what I have because it can definitely start to look a bit heavy the more you build. So anyway, that's one side done, and it just does look like my skin, doesn't it? And then that's with nothing. Let's get it over here. And I think that this does have blurring qualities. I think sometimes with foundation sticks and with more emollient products, you do lack the blurring ability of it and it tends to sit into pores. Whereas I think that because this is more natural leaning, I think you definitely get a lot more blurring with it. The only thing about this brush is that I always go in with the wrong side. Well, not the wrong side. There's no wrong side. You see how easily that blends? It's literally, it really is quite like nothing on your skin, to be honest. And you know what? That's what a skin tint should be. Also, with a lot of foundation sticks, for example, I just reviewed one from the Sephora collection. That is a beautiful foundation stick, really gorgeous, but you can feel it on your skin, whereas I feel like this is very weightless, which is unusual for a foundation stick, honestly. It feels really nice, it does. It feels super lightweight, and that's how it should feel. It's so easy. Hey, the concealer's looking really good, can I just say? I'm shocked. Okay, let's go in with a little bit more, seeing as we did build up the other side too. Just taking a look at some of the skincare ingredients in here. So Mirror Butter, vitamin C rich guava fruit extract, and antioxidant vitamin E. And I did pop the ingredients into Inside Coda, and it's alcohol-free, fragrance and essential oil-free. So that's a full face done. I have had really nice success with this skin tint. I think I am more inclined to go for glowier type products. So it doesn't tick the box in that sense for me because I prefer more glowy bordering on dewy. However, if you want your skin to look like actual skin, this is going to do that. I think the biggest negative for me is that I don't get a whole lot of longevity out of this. So it will look really, really good. It will look good all day, but if I'm doing anything super strenuous or if I'm caught in bad weather or anything like that, it's not going to hold up the best. Do you know what? I think that this would be suitable for predominantly people with dry to combo skin, and I do think people with oily skin can very comfortably wear this, but I think you would probably want to set your face, because even though I do think that people with oily skin would really appreciate this foundation, I think it could wear away even quicker on you. So if you want a foundation that literally looks like your skin, then this is it. And I don't know why I was moaning about the shade. Why was I moaning about it? It looks absolutely fine. It actually looks like my skin. Weird. As you know, I live in Ireland, so I do not have access to this brand that we're going to talk about now. But I do have a brother-in-law who lives in Texas, and when he visits, I get him to bring me stuff. I do. So the stuff that I got him to bring me last time included these from Covergirl. These are the True Blend Skin Enhancers. Now, you can actually order these if you are in Europe. You can order them off Amazon US, but just be prepared to pay high shipping fees. So I picked up the Baked Luminous Bronzer because everybody was banging on about how these are a dupe for the Hourglass, and I do really like the Hourglass bronzers. I got it in the shade Toasted Butterscotch. Now, I'm going to tell you that I like the bronzer a lot more than I like the blush. I'm not the biggest powder blush fan, but I definitely enjoy this bronzer a lot more than I do the blush. So that's the shade Toasted Butterscotch, and I was kind of relieved when I saw the shade, because you never know with bronzers, you never know if they're going to be too dark. I don't know if you can see it there. It does have a little bit of luminosity to it, but it's actually really nice. It's a little bit like, you know, the RMS Redimension bronzer. It's a little bit like that. It doesn't look glittery, it doesn't look shiny, it just looks really, really nice. I'm not sure what I paid for this. I think around $10 maybe, something like that. So I'm going to pop this on with my Morphe M162 powder brush, and I'm just going to diffuse it onto the face. Now, I've applied a bit too much there. Yes, I've gone a bit heavy-handed. Okay, if that happens and you apply too much bronzer like I just did, just keep blending. Wipe off your brush, preferably on a microfiber cloth, and then I just keep blending. Very deceiving, isn't it, when it's on your hand on a swatch? So don't do what I do. Don't go in heavy-handed. Go in lightly. But this is very pretty, and it's not often that I love powder bronzers, but these are gorgeous. And yeah, I've been playing around with them for a while now. You know, the main thing I want you to take from this is that these are very flattering on the skin. They are very smooth, like really smooth on the skin. And I was surprised. And I can see why people think that they are a dupe for the Hourglass, but I think that these have a lot more pigment than the Hourglass does. I really like this bronzer. I think it's really, really nice. If you go in a little bit lighter than what I did, you can have yourself a really nice sheer wash of colour, but you can obviously go in a little bit more heavy-handed, like I did. Now, we might use a little bit of the blush in a minute, but I'll show you the shade. So I got the blush in the shade Rose Latte. I just found that when I used the blush, it didn't look as smooth as the bronzer. And now, obviously, I have dry skin and I have fine lines and wrinkles. So it's not going to be as smooth as it is on a 20-year-old on TikTok. So just bear that in mind. There it is at the bottom. And you can see it's got the same finish, so quite luminous. It's really pretty. I want to use a different blush today. But we might top it, we might set it with this one. We'll see. We'll just play it by ear and see what happens. So I did pick up a new blush from Rimmel. This is the Multitasker Blush and Brush. So you've got the blush on one side, cream blush, and then on the other side, you've got the worst brush you've ever seen. I don't know how anyone thinks that they're going to apply blush with this. I mean, you can see that I did attempt to once, but it's so dense. It's so dense and stiff. Nah, don't apply your blush with that. It's pointless. It really is pointless. So this retails for about €12 and you get 8 grams of product, which is pretty decent. So this claims to be a melt into skin formula which transforms into a soft powder finish, buildable colour and naturally radiant finish. So this is the shade 150 Cherry on Point, and do you know, it does have a luminosity to it. So it's definitely not a flat blush at all, but it's not dewy. And obviously I do really like dewy, so that would always be my preference. I like to go in with a brush onto the cream blush and then pop it on that way. So I'm going to use the other end of the Mario F4 and I'm just going to pick some up on the end and then just start to stipple it on. Now this goes on really, really sheer, but you can definitely build it up. And I've had mixed opinions on it. There's been some days I've worn this and I've loved it. And then some days I feel like it lifts up my makeup a little bit. And I feel like it might be doing that today. So I'm going to switch brushes to a BK Beauty 109. Let's go in over here. This is always my favourite cream brush. Yeah. It's not my favourite today. kind of regretting it and wishing I'd have gone in with the Covergirl. I'm not sure about it at all. Like I said, I did try it. One day I absolutely loved it, but since then I've had hit and miss experiences with it. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap that up and say that I'm not the biggest fan. Again, the first couple of times I used it, I really enjoyed it, but I do think it tends to disturb my makeup. What is going on with this head? I hope things are not deteriorating in today's video. I really hope. So what I might do now is I might top that blush with the Covergirl blush. It's either going to be a great decision or an absolute disaster. Let's see. So again, this is the shade Rose Latte, and I'm going to use a BK Beauty N15 for this. And I'm just going to swirl into it. And I'm not going to use a lot because, again, I don't really love powder blushes, but I think we need a bit of help here. That's actually looking really smooth. Yeah, look. If something doesn't work once, still go back in and try again, because, you know, makeup works differently together. Now that actually looks pretty good. I think that looks really nice. I think they're definitely worth the money. Definitely feel very high end, honestly. They really do. I think if you like powder products, you really will enjoy those. Honestly, I think you really will. They're really soft, really pretty, quite ethereal, and I think if you have more mature skin, I think you'd really enjoy them. But you have to like that little bit of radiance that it brings. But I would definitely recommend either of those. I think they're really lovely products. Yeah, I like those. For a powder hater, they are lovely. So for the lips, I have one of these lip liners from Revlon. This is the Photo Ready Instant Blur Liner. I'm going to say that I don't really like these at all. So these retail for €13. And I picked up the shade 001 Dewy. No, you can't really see these on the lips at all. Look, I am literally pressing so hard to get any kind of pigment out of this. I am not a fan of this. And I know people are going to say, well, you know, it's supposed to be really soft, blurred, natural look to the lips. No, I want to be able to see my lip liner. Okay, what's the point in having it otherwise? Can you even see that? No, it's kind of non-existent, isn't it? It's not even there. But I'll show it you on the lips. I mean, it's soft, and we'll fill in the lips with it. It's for €13. I want a little bit more than that. It's nice. It is nice, but you can get that for a lot less than €13, honestly. Yeah, is it blurring? Yeah, I guess it's a little bit blurring. This is actually the day that I've seen the most pigment from this, because every other time that I've used this, I've just not been able to get anything out of it. I would say to you, if you are planning on using this all over the lips, that will be fine. You'll get something soft and natural looking. But if you are planning on using this as a lip liner, so to contour the lips, you're not going to get anything out of this. I love the new L'Oreal. So these Blur Filler Lip Contour lip liners, these are so much better. They have pigment, they are beautifully blurring, they are just stunning. So I would choose the L'Oreal over the Revlon any day. Obviously, we're all different in our preferences. However, I just think for €12, you should be getting a little bit more than this, you know? It's nice, it's pretty though. If you're using it as a lipstick, then it's fine, but anything else, nah. To fill in the lips, we are actually sticking with Revlon, and we're going in with this Photo Ready Instant Plump Serum. I'm scared about this because This actually really, really, it's stingy on the lips. It really is. So it retails for €14, and this is the shade, I think it's Lip Floaties. So that, yeah, so this is the shade Lip Floaties. So it claims to give you instantly plumper and more youthful looking lips. It is formulated with fire and ice complex to heat and cool the lips, delivering a tingling sensation. Tingling, it's pretty painful, I'm not gonna lie to you, but one thing it does do is it plumps your lips. So let's put it to the test. So I am gonna wipe off just the center of my lips. This is actually really, really nice. So that's how the doe foot looks. It's kind of lip hugging. So smells very minty. It's very minty on the lips. And now it's starting to kick in. This is very fiery on the lips. It really is. Now, it's not unbearable, as in I feel like I need to get this off my lips, but it's there. You should avoid this if you are sensitive to tingling on the lips, because this is a step up from tingling. This is spicy. This feels, oh, it's quite intense. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, it's really kicking in now. I can kind of taste it at the back of my throat. Don't you think this is plumping my lips? Look. If you ignore the pain for a little bit, it does subside, okay? And I think this is really pretty, isn't it? This shade, Lip Floaties, is beautiful. It doesn't feel sticky. It just feels really, really nice. And look at my lips. My lips are actually plumped. I look like I've had lip filler, don't I? I've never had a lip product plump my lips like this before, but it works. Revlon, this is pretty intense. What is in this? Because my lips have literally doubled in size. The intensity is now starting to fade. It's been a few minutes, but my lips, my top lip feels a little bit numb. Anyway, I actually love that. I love the fact that I can get plumped out lips without having to go and get lip filler. And I think it's so pretty, isn't it? Let's just not take away from how pretty this lip serum is. It's gorgeous. I do love it. I do. We are going to finish off with a setting spray, and I picked up this from Milani, the Make It Last Moisture Boost alcohol-free long wear setting spray. So it's great that it doesn't have alcohol in here. This contains polyglutamic acid and glycerin, which is amazing for hydration. So this retailed for $17.50. Now you only get 60 ml of product, which I think sometimes drugstore setting sprays, they can trick us a little bit. So you kind of do have to look at the amounts that you are getting with these products. It has a really, really lovely mister. This is ideal for people with drier skin. Now, not because it leaves your skin looking really dewy, because it doesn't. This gives you a really natural finish to the skin. It looks dewy now, but you have to wait for it to dry down. The major benefit of this product is the way that it just melts everything in together. And I think we talk about that quite flippantly. But what do we mean by that? We mean that it just softens your makeup. So, you know, when I was talking about having some texture over here, this really does help to kind of soften that and soften down any texture you might have, or if anything on your face is looking particularly powdery. And you know, like today, I have used quite a lot of powder on my face. And so this just helps to soften it, melt everything together, and it just is, it's a beautiful spray. Now, I can't smell any fragrance. No, just smells like a setting spray to me. Now, I did put this to the test the other day. My daughter, she had training outside and it was so wet. It was like that rain that was so fine, and just, it literally just blew into my face the whole time. And when I got home, my makeup had not moved, and I was absolutely amazed. And it must have been down to this. Now, I do think that any time that you use a spray on your face, it can re-emphasize some of your pores. So if you do feel like the spray or a setting spray has made you look a little bit shinier, just go in with some powder. I'm going to go in with this, the L'Oreal Blurfection powder. This is a really good powder. Expensive, but it's really good. Taking a Morphe 164, and you can just pat over your pore area. If you want to minimize any shine that the setting spray may have caused. Now, I don't have a new highlighter, but I used this in my last video, which is the L'Oreal Luminous Glass in the shade Glassy Pearl Eclat, and I have just fallen back in love with it, and I'm going to use a bit of that today. So I'm just going to take, this is just a Real Techniques concealer brush, going to tap into it, and I'm just going to tap it on the cheeks a bit, because I feel like I'm lacking a little bit of glow today. I love it. Are there any other drugstore versions of this? I know Catrice have one, which I do like, but it's a little bit more metallic-y than this one. I feel a bit better now. I've got a little bit of glow back on the face. So do you know what? I think today was a relative success. There's not many things really that I didn't love. I think the Rimmel blush, I think I've tried that enough times now to say that it's just been too inconsistent for me. I like it, but I don't love it. But sticking with blush, I will say that I haven't really loved the Covergirl blush when I've been using it, but today I've really enjoyed it. I think it looks really smooth, really pretty. And I'd say that the L'Oreal eyeshadow palette, although it hasn't blown me away, and I wouldn't pay 20 euros for it, I would pay 12 euros again for one of the other colour stories. I do think it's really pretty. I think the actual formula is really good, but it's not going to blow you away. It's just an improvement on what we've had before. I do really love the Maybelline Mascara. I think it's one of the best tubing mascaras I've ever tried. I really like the skin tint. I do wish it was a little bit more glowy, but it's still nice. And I really like the Covergirl Bronzer. I think that is stunning, really gorgeous, especially for the price. And as for Revlon, the lip liner, not really for me. It's a bit too soft. For me, I just like to have a little bit more pigment with my lip liners and my lip products. And that lip serum, which has now died down, definitely delivers on the plumping, but it's at a price, okay? It's a little bit painful. So if you are sensitive, don't bother. Give that one a miss. So please do let me know, have you tried any of these products, or do any of them interest you? Let me know everything down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, take care and bye for now.